Here are the three stories that changed my perspective. Do you want to know these stories that will help you out? Genuinely. Like, seriously, they will change your mind on the way you're thinking about these things in your life. They'll stop your laziness, they'll stop your inconsistent workouts, and they'll stop your inconsistent prayers if you just think about these stories here. And I'm not trying to sell you any fairy tales, but these are real, authentic things that apply to life. Take it from me, it changed my consistency. Enough talk, let's just get right into the video. The first story is about this elephant. And I know you must be wondering, what could an elephant help me with my life for? But just listen real quick. This elephant, the moment it was born, was tied up to a tree so that it wouldn't run off. The rope was quite thick and the tree was quite strong. The reason for that is because a newborn baby elephant can weigh up to 270 pounds. Damn, I'm small. But it is what it is. Let's get right back to it. This elephant, for the next 5 years of its life, was tied up to that tree and to that same kind of rope. The elephant started to grow, of course, and it got bigger and stronger. But after the first year, it stopped trying to pull away. It doubled in weight and almost doubled in height too. But it didn't pull away from that tree because the tree and the rope were just too strong. As the next 4 years came on, there was no type of resistance whenever the elephant felt the rope on its body. He would have to wait for the master to remove the rope for him to go anywhere. And that's how he lived the next 4 years of his life. On the sixth year, the farmer who owned the elephant got bold and just started tying him to these small saplings. Got even bolder and tied him to a plastic chair that weighed about 10 pounds. This elephant didn't resist. Keep in mind now, this elephant is a ton at least at this point in time. So easily he could have removed the chair, he could have walked around wherever he wanted, he could have met any new elephant he wanted, but no, he was trapped because he stayed in that same situation with the rope and the chair. This first story here really revolves around limiting beliefs. This elephant didn't want to move from that chair because it thought the chair was too heavy. It didn't want to move from the rope because the rope was too tight and strong. And at a point in time, these beliefs served him because when he was young, he would just waste energy trying to move from the big oak tree tied to this strong, heavily woven rope. But it didn't realize that as the time passed, it got stronger, which is the most important part. And another part of his condition was that the rope got thinner. The tree was no longer a tree, but it was just a plastic chair. Yet this elephant never took the movement to remove itself from that situation. And so thus it lived the rest of its life limited. Elephant can typically live between 50 to 70 years. Does that sound similar? It should, because a human life averages around 80 years, which isn't too much longer than an elephant. And that's only if you get lucky. So can you imagine living the rest of your life like that elephant, limited up to a tree, which in our time would be a pointless 9 to 5 that you have no passion in working for and it doesn't help you at all. But have escaped that life and move forward to what you really wanted to do by taking that step. Like the elephant, his limiting beliefs served him when he was young to conserve energy from constantly pulling away from a meaningless task which he could have never gotten out of. You also needed that job to get forward in life, but you got stuck because you believed that you couldn't change your existence. And I just want you to really think about that for the rest of this video. How you could possibly live the rest of your life limited like this elephant. And as we go on to the next two stories, I want you to always keep that constant in your mind, that you would not want to be limited to your thoughts or to your actions. Before we get to the second story, let me introduce myself. My name is K2 Fearless. I practice faith and fitness on this channel, and for more content and valuable info like this, subscribe. And throughout this video, if you have any questions, put it down in the comments. In order to help boost this message, please like. It really does make a difference in spreading this content for more people who need it. Don't be selfish. I know this is a good video, but a lot of people can be helped with this information. Alright, now on to our second story. This story is a little bit different. It's about two wolves. When this story originates in Native American culture, it talks about two wolves in our mind. These two wolves are both strong and ambitious to get what they want. They're always in constant battle, and so far the record is even. One wolf wants everything to be just the way he wants it, selfish, evil, greedy, lustful, and all the desires that you have that do not serve your life. The other wolf is more godlike, more Jesus-like. He wants to be selfless. He has his ambitions, but wants to use his ambitions to serve and help the people around him. Which wolf wins? The answer is a lot simpler than you think. The wolf that wins is the wolf that gets fed. The wolf that isn't fed, the wolf that is starved, will ultimately lose. So, what I'm getting at with this story is that if you feed the bad wolf, evil wolf here, he's gonna blow and blow and knock your house down. Now you guys get that. That's from the little pigs. Yeah, but he's going to knock over and topple the structure of your life because this wolf is evil. Because this wolf doesn't think forward into the future and is only selfish. The second wolf will eventually lose to that first wolf if he doesn't get fed. And by fed, it's the actions that you put into your mind, the actions that you put out into the world, and the actions that will ultimately be stuck with you. If ultimately though, if you feed the good wolf, he will win. The wolf will use his ambitions, will use his hunger to serve others and to help make the world a better place. How could you not want that wolf to win? So help feed that wolf. And finally, to wrap up this video, we have the third story. This story is about a frog. I don't know who does this, and I don't know if you do this, but there's some people who like to eat frogs. Whoever the first guy was an interesting individual, but nonetheless, he found out a way to cook a frog. This one's probably a common one, so you might have heard it, but it's always good to ingrain these into your mind. So follow along. This frog was being captive in a clear aquarium type box that this guy caught from an Amazon river. And we're just making this up as we go, the setting. What's more important is what you'll hear that this guy did to the frog. So, his first attempt with the first frog, he threw the frog into the water as it was pre-boiled because he wanted his food cooked fast. And so, guess what happened? The frog instantly jumped out the water as soon as it touched down and eventually hopped off away with its second, third degree burns or whatever, and the guy couldn't catch him because the frog was just avoidant and he never got caught and turned into food. The second frog was thrown into cold water, and then the guy closed the lid and let the frog chill in the water. Soon, he put the pot on the stove, for which he turned the heat up slowly. It went from a medium, kind of warm, a little uncomfortable, to a little bit hotter, to a little bit hotter, and a little bit hotter. You get the point. And so, by that point, when it got to the ultimate heat, the frog couldn't move. The frog was already getting cooked because he stayed in the cold water, which felt good in the moment. Now, this story relates to complacency and how if you don't realize it, you're going to get cooked. Literally, you'll be cooked. Make sure you're always aware of this environment that you're in. If the frog was more conscious and realized that it was heating up as the time went on and didn't realize it didn't have enough time, it would have got out. But in life, the lid always remains open. It was never closed. He could have jumped off. That lid in life is never impossible to get through. So, moral of this story is that you need to be aware of your conditions in your life. And you should be ready to leave and go to a better condition that will help serve you, your goals, and the people around you. And I really hope you take something away from these three stories. You want to not have your limiting beliefs that are always holding you back. You want to feed your good thoughts. And you also want to be aware of the life that you're living, or it can always overtake you if you do not follow these three rules. But I'm K2 Fearless. For more faith and fitness content like this and stories that will help you ingrain these messages, subscribe, like, and comment any questions that you have down below. Don't forget that James chapter 1 verse 5 tells us to ask for wisdom, and that with wisdom we all know that we'll learn. K2 Fearless out. God bless.